We're in the 2023 Mazda MX-5 Miata. It is unchanged for this year, and I'm happy about that because why fix what isn't broken? Mazda has this formula down better than anyone else. Tiny roadster, and we're in the RF. So let's go ahead, flip the top back, real time, so I won't fast forward this or anything. So when you're sitting at a stoplight, roasting in the sun, which just happened to me a little bit ago, I flipped the top up. But today we're gonna do the review with the top down. And make sure to stay at the end because I will get back in the studio, do a little buying guide with you guys, tell you which trim level of the MX-5 is the best way to go. What we have here is the RF, the hard top, but it is in the Grand Touring trim, which has the leather seats and whatnot. We'll get into that a little bit. Underneath the hood, unchanged since 2019, 2-liter, 181 horsepower, 151 pound-feet of torque, made it the 6-speed manual transmission. You can get the 6-speed auto as well. If you're having a good time, you'll still get about 25-30 miles per gallon. If you're babying this thing, 40 miles per gallon is not out of the equation. Let's step back, let's check out the MX-5, and it just looks so beautiful. This car is smaller than anything else on the road here in North America. It gets so much attention, and Mazda has just made this vehicle look like a piece of art everywhere it goes. The hardtop RF has not a completely removable hardtop. You still have these B-pillars here that take up a huge portion of your blind spot, which is tough in a small car. You want to make sure you can see everything for safety, but man, is it sexy. So you got to compromise a little bit. On the rear, maybe if they ever refresh this again, there's rumors coming out of Japan that we could get another refresh. I'd like to see maybe dual exhaust, but the double tip here still looks great. Now the RF actually has a smaller trunk compared to the drop top. There's a little button down there. Let's go and check this out. Lifting this up, it goes deeper than you think. Last year when I had this for review, I was able to fit a 42-inch TV in here with a couple bungee cords. We have a little light over here, and you have a fix-a-flat kit if you ever get a flat tire with this guy. Literally, the trunk feels almost identical to what my 1991 NA Miata did. That was the first car I ever had with a manual transmission. So the MX-5 will always have a special place in my heart. And literally, how it is in this 4th generation, it feels like it has the exact same soul. It's just a little bit older, a little bit more refined compared to my 5-speed 1.6-liter 1991 MA Miata. So let's go ahead and start driving this guy. I can look at it all day, but the second thing that's very enjoyable about this vehicle is actually driving it. I love the soul red crystal metallic that goes on the top of the doors as well, brings the outside to the inside, that beauty. Let's go and get seat buckled in. I'm 6'1". I barely fit in the RF. The top of my head does touch the roof at times. We have the manual handbrake over here. I wish it was over here like my 91, but you know, it's still easy to get to be honest. And this shifter has a lot of character to it. You feel the buzziness of this little 4-cylinder through it all the time. You see him vibrating right now. It's like a dog's tail wagging around. It's always happy. It wants to please the driver. And yeah, that blind spot's quite terrible, but baby, we're in the Miata, and I know the camera can't show you, but the smile on my face is ear to ear, and that's something no other car can do, at least in my testing. I think maybe the Elantra N has been close, which costs a similar amount to this, but the Elantra N doesn't look as good, and the Elantra N is a completely different vehicle overall. I can't take the top down. It's a sedan. It's just like kind of a different market. This is more of a toy. And I can't really push it around the turning circle there because of the traffic. But here's the thing, with 181 horsepower, you can easily push this thing to close to its limits in town, not break the speed limit, and you're still having the best time of your life here. Go ahead and flip it into 6th gear, and you're just cruising. It says like about 30-35 miles an hour. I'm getting like 50 to 60 miles per gallon, which is just absolutely insane. So the auto rev matching downshifts, well, there isn't any. You have to do it yourself. So you just kind of blip the throttle, and it takes some getting used to, and that's what's fun about it, right? There's nothing in this car that you don't have to work for a little bit. At least with the manual transmission, you have that full-on driver engagement. I still wish we had auto rev matching downshifts. Maybe Mazda can incorporate that with another refresh of this. That would pretty much make this car perfect. No car's perfect, but that would do it for me. And maybe a touchscreen interface with maybe a slightly larger screen. That's all I would need, and I'd be a happy camper, because everything with this tiny screen with Android Auto, you have to go through the rotary dial, and it's just kind of a disappointment because it's right here. Look how close it is. It's so easy for me to get to. But to be honest, I'm never focusing on the infotainment too much, because this car just is begging me. It's a little puppy dog begging me to have a good time, to have some fun in the MX-5 Miata. With the top down, you can see all the beautiful sights around you. It's just absolutely unreal, the performance and the unique experience that this car gives you. I'll put some other competitors on the list that are maybe in the same price point. We got a new Mustang convertible coming out, but that car's much bigger, a lot more power, and you can stick people in the back of it. So this car is more intimate. You feel like you're out on a date with not somebody else, which you can take one other person for your date, but the car always feels like it's an intimate experience with you in the car, that one-on-one. That no one else, well, everyone else can appreciate it because they see the beauty of that relationship outside looking in, the beauty of the car, the cuteness of it, and it's just usually one person on the inside. AC in here is actually really cold. I like having the top down with the AC on. It's definitely a first world situation. But it says it's 96 degrees here on the temperature gauge, but I'm actually not like dripping sweat or anything because I get a good amount of airflow. Even though it's hot, humid Florida air, it's still doing a good job cooling me down. Now, this car doesn't weigh anything, just pop it in neutral, onto the brakes, very linear. Oh gosh, it's so easy to bring this car to a stop. And in 2022, they added a new technology called Kinematic Posture Control. There you go, I'll give you a look over the bay. So Kinematic Posture Control reduces the body roll, simple as that. A little bit better torque vectoring through the use of the brakes, from my understanding, to keep this car more flat in the turns, more predictable, and just a better driving experience overall. So yeah, they pretty much perfected the driving experience, in my opinion, in 2022. And yes, you could still modify this, put on lowering links, different dampers, and you could also put on maybe an active exhaust. That's maybe something I would do. I'd like to have a little bit more exhaust note out of this. I mean, it sounds, goddamn, it sounds so good. Largely because I feel like the engine is just sitting right in front of me, because I can hear it from every single area around me. So, oh man. You know, this is actually my second time doing this video today. My POV camera was like facing down at my fanny pack then compared to the road. So I had to refilm it. And typically that makes me angry because I have to redo everything. It's just kind of inefficient, and it feels like a waste of time, right? But in this car, I'm like, oh great, I get to do it all over again, and it's gonna be a blast. I can't wait to review it one more time. And I get, you know, I've only had this car for a couple days this week, but I get it for 5 more days, and I'm just gonna be driving it every chance I get. Even though I have an Alfa Romeo Stelvio in the driveway, this is gonna be my steed of choice, and it just looks, I mean, just when I look at it, I just feel like I'm complete. And there's one other car that's a convertible that does that for me. It costs 3 times as much as this, but I saw it yesterday when I took this to the movie theater to see the Mission Impossible movie. It was the Lexus LC500 convertible with the tan top. It had a similar color to this called infrared. It had the caramel interior. It was just amazing to have both my dream convertibles at the same place at the same time, and I was driving one of them. So this is like, you know, midlife crisis sort of thing you buy to keep you entertained. And then the LC500 is like when you're 60, 70 years old, you have that extra dough to spend, and you drop 6 figures on a drop-dead sexy coupe with a fire-breathing V8. All right, let's get around this Transit 250 here. Shouldn't be an issue. Gotta see which lane he's gonna pick. A little wheel spin. Oh, God bless. God bless Mazda. God bless the MX-5. I honestly don't think I can have any more fun in a car that's street legal, and I'm not breaking the limits. I don't think it's possible. Mazda, thank you for keeping the MX-5 so pure. And let's head into the office where I'm going to tell you which is the best trim levels and maybe the best bargain. And you know, this Mercedes pulls right in front of me. Typical Florida. Let's see if we can fold up the top here, because I am getting hot baking in the sun sitting at the stoplight. And the stoplights here in Naples take like 5 minutes, no joke, it takes forever. So you have all the time in the world to put the top back up. I don't have auto windows down, I have auto windows down but not up. So I wish that was a thing in here. But yeah, let's go ahead and crank the AC, chill out here sitting in the hot Florida sun, and let's get into the office. I just want to get back in the car and go for a drive, but we have not only the soft top, but the hard top that we reviewed today. And that only comes in 2 trim levels. And it comes in the Club, which has the BBS Recaro Brembo brake package on it. So this thing has all the performance features of it. If you're getting the RF, in my opinion, that's the way to go. Now, it costs a lot more than the model that I did, which, by the way, the window sticker is about $35,000. If you just want the looks of the RF, but not necessarily the utmost performance, then yeah, maybe you get the Grand Touring model. But the Club, to me, if you're spending $35K already, might as well get the Club, and you get the upgraded wheels, better seats, and you get the Brembo brakes on it. Even though the standard brakes are amazing, it's more of like an aesthetic thing, or if you plan on tracking it. If you plan on tracking it, it makes sense to get that BBS Recaro Brembo brake package. All right, so the soft top, and I'm going to recommend the soft top over the hard top. It's less expensive. You have a bigger trunk. You have no blind spots. You have the windshield blind spot if you're tall, but you don't have the ones behind you where the B pillars are on the hard top. The hard top does look cooler, but there are a lot of compromises and it costs more money. So, over the years, I've wrestled with it back and forth, and they're both great cars, the hard top and the soft top. But at this point, I think if I were buying a Miata, I think I'd be going to soft top. It's so easy to get that top open. It's just a couple seconds. Anyways, all right, so you can get in the Sport for $28K. So you might be thinking, Kirk, yeah, right, that's probably just an advertisement, and they probably did. But hold the phone, check this out. In my area, I can get into one for $28,000. The Sport, a cool cement color with the black wheels. Heck, I think that's a great buy. $28,000 Miata Sport. Where I live in Florida, the Grand Touring, it's still amazing. I could absolutely live with it, but it's leather seats and they're not ventilated. So, my back is still sweaty from my drive. I would rather have the cloth because it breathes better. However, when I was editing the video, I actually noticed that the Club is exclusively via build to order. So you won't see these sitting around lots anymore. You're either going to have the Sport, which is a great starting point, affordable, and you can modify this because, you're going to have some cash left over from not spending it on the Grand Touring or the Club, or the Grand Touring is going to be on the lot. So the Club is going to be harder to find out there on the dealership lots, and it might be best to do a direct order, especially if you need to get the right paint color. The Bose 9-speaker system is also standard on the Club, which is awesome because it sounds great. The speakers are built into the headrest, which dates back all the way to the NA Miata, the first generation. And the sound is amazing in there because the cabin is so small. So I totally recommend getting the Club, getting the better sound system, and you have additional aerodynamic pieces like the front air dam and rear lip spoiler as well. So let's build off of the Club package. We're going to go manual transmission. We're going to get Soul Red, but this is a new color as of, I think, this year, which is a Zircon Sand. I haven't seen one on the road yet, but I think there's actually one when I saw on this list. There's a Zircon, there's one right there. So they're out there on dealerships. I just want something flashy a little bit in my Miata. And that's something I feel like Mazda is a bit lacking on, is the lack of fun colors for such a fun car. Where's my green? Where's my yellow? Give me a purple. Like, give me something fun for this car. And really the only fun color is the Soul Red. So the soul red, in my opinion, and the blue is just too dark. It needs to be bright, happy, poppy blue, and it's not. All right, so we're going with the red here. Now you could get Napa leather. That's going to force you into the Grand Touring package. So we'll stick with black cloth with gray stitching. You could spend an additional $4,500 for the BBS Recaro package. Might be worth it for you guys out there. Makes the car just look so amazing. But it is not, the seats aren't as breathable, which is important for me in a hot climate down here in Florida. And I could always put on these BBS forged wheels if I wanted to. I could always add these things on later if I wanted to. But if you can find an MX-5 on discount with this combined Brembo BBS Recaro package, I'd absolutely pull the trigger on it. So let's look in my general area here in South Florida within 150 miles of where I live, see what's going on. I already mentioned this Miata Sport, killer deal, $28,000. You're not going to have any more fun for the money than that. There's nothing out there on the new market that's going to give you as much fun for $28,000. We found one in red with the BBS Recaro package here. $35,000, it's probably worth it, to be honest. I don't think spending much more than $35,000 on the MX-5 is a good buy because it's essentially a toy. It's hard to make it your everyday unless you have a backup car where you can do additional, like carry people in and carry additional items in. So $35K, $36K is probably hard limit on the MX-5, but you better be getting this club package with the BBS Recaro Brembo brakes. If we look at the first half of the sales here in 2023 for the MX-5 Miata, it's up 561% on the month of June compared to June of last year. It's up about 100% on the year. So we finally are seeing volume come back for the MX-5 Miata. That's going to work in the favor of the customer. Absolutely. You're going to have more choice. People or dealers will be willing to deal as well. Even though most of them are Grand Touring trims out there, at least available in my market, that should change here in the second half of this year, absolutely. So I'm going to click Club because I think Club is the best buy overall, where you get the Bose sound system as well as the additional aerodynamic pieces on it. Ooh, and here's one. Now it's in black, which isn't ideal, but $31,000. It's not going to have that BBS package, but it still looks amazing. It'll drive great as well. Most of these that are over $38,000 are going to have the BBS Recaro Brembo brake package, which really is just about all of them, it looks like, because there's only one car, the one I just showed. This one right here, this is the only one. It's 210 miles from me. It's the only one even remotely close that doesn't have that additional package on it. But it really just depends on what's most important to you. For me, it's about the paint color. I gotta have that soul red. So there's only 14 soul red crystals in my general area, and I would just have to work with those prices. So $32,000. Now that's a Grand Touring. That's a pretty good deal in my opinion, because it starts at $33,000. So the fact that I can get a Grand Touring for under $33,000 right here, this one's MSRP is at $35,000. I wouldn't hesitate on this model with the soul red. And this is actually in my backyard. This is in Naples. So heck yeah, representing my hometown here. The soul red crystal right on my back door. Oh, I'm tempted to head over there right now and buy it because it's a good deal. And even though like the Grand Touring isn't my favorite, it's still an amazing car, and I just got to end it there. This really wasn't the best buying guide because the MX-5 is such a good car at every single price point, and I don't think buying it at any price, well, maybe over $35,000, in my opinion, that's when it starts to be a bit of a stretch. But if you can get it for under $35,000, you'll have smiles every single time you look at it, smiles every time you sit in it and drive it. And it's never going to get old for you. At least it never gets old for me, even though I've driven them countless amount of times after owning a Miata. All I do is think like the one car I want as an additional car is typically the Miata when it all boils down. So, all right, got to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, because if Mazda decides to do an ND3, an additional refresh to this current generation Miata, then I will do a video on it, update you guys. And if I hear anything from Japan, I'll make a video on it as well. So make sure you're subscribed, smash the like button for the MX-5 and for Mazda's commitment to this car. It's nothing short of amazing. And I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day and peace.